Hello everyone and welcome back to our Drarry Advent Calendar with the story A Husband for Christmas by Jolly Laugh. Today we're at day 9. Christmas all over again. Draco sat by the open window staring into the oncoming snowstorm. Well, it was probably going to be more of a rainstorm with unnaturally big raindrops, or just overly wet snow. The last meeting hadn't been good. None of them had. Carl was just doing it because his mother told him to. Pascal seemed overly keen on being the one to save him, and last night, Mark. He was just incredibly rude to everyone. How was he supposed to find someone? And by Christmas, no less. The matchmaker had given him 5 names. 3 of these 5 were idiots, and that only left 2. Simon and Tim. What would happen if none of these men were working for him? Could as well just start packing whatever he deemed most important and take as much money from his vault as he could before the ministry would get suspicious. He couldn't. He needed to try, at least for Scorpius. When he got up, he felt the wards move slightly inside. Harry was here. Again. He had shown him too much weakness yesterday. For Merlin's sake, he had almost started crying in front of him. Then again, the way Harry had talked about people healing, it seemed as if he had more experience than he had previously let on. Walking through the hallway again, he heard Scorpius talk to Harry about his favorite writer and how there was a new book published today. He was pretty much talking him into oblivion, though when he turned around the corner and saw the Gryffindor, he was grinning from ear to ear. Surprised, he stopped dead in his tracks and watched Harry and Scorpius. The way Scorpius jumped up and down, excitedly talking about his new book, and Harry with a sideway smirk, made Draco feel warm. His son had never been so happy with a caregiver, and the way Harry's entire attention lay on Scorpius was proof to Draco that Pansy had been right. He was a perfect caregiver. "So, do you want to go and buy the book?" Harry finally asked, and Scorpius stopped jumping with wide eyes.
I can? Can we go there?"
He asked carefully, not really understanding what Harry was talking about. The Gryffindor nodded and grinned.
"Of course we can go there, Scorpius. Grab some money and we'll be there as soon as we can."
Scorpius squealed excitedly and ran up the stairs, quite clearly to get some money or whatever else he needed. Draco smiled and walked out of the shadows.
"He will spend every second he can at bookshops, Lord Potter. Maybe this wasn't the best idea."
The way Harry smiled at him, Draco felt his breathing stop for a second.
"Well, young men should read a lot, I think. And I do know the author personally, so maybe I can even get Scorpius an autograph. I think he would appreciate that." "If you do that, I will officially be dethroned as the best person in Scorp's life."
Draco chuckled.
Harry shook his head. "I hardly believe that, Lord Malfoy. Parents aren't as easily dethroned as one might think." "If you can get Carly Wolf to give Scorp an autograph, I will be history."
Draco saw Harry smile and look at the tie. He had tried his best to fix it and hoped the Gryffindor wasn't trying to do anything. Luckily he wasn't, and a second later Scorpius appeared, smiling broadly.
"Can we go?"
he asked Harry, who smiled and nodded.
"Bye, Father,"
Scorpius called as they walked out of the door. Sighing, Draco turned to look at himself in the mirror. Once he was done, he closed his eyes and left to the restaurant, where he was supposed to meet Simon. Or was it Tim? No, it was Simon. The small restaurant was in the middle of Muggle London, and as soon as he entered the establishment, the waitress led him to the table. Another man already sat there, smiling at him.
"Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Simon."
Well, that was refreshing. It wasn't such a stiff conversation starter as he had had with everyone else. Simon was actually even fairly attractive.
"Draco, nice to meet you. I'm not late, am I?"
While Simon checked his watch, Draco followed his beautiful blue eyes and saw a very expensive watch on his wrist.
"No, you're perfectly punctual. I tend to be early, wherever I go."
Smirking, Draco tilted his head slightly.
"Why?" "Just a fear of being any kind of late, actually."
Simon smirked and brushed a strain of dark brown hair out of his face.
My parents met because my mother's date wasn't early, and they started talking. What if that happens to me, you know? I don't want to spend my life with someone I wasn't supposed to be together because I was late one time.
Draco frowned.
That is slightly twisted.
Simon shrugged his shoulders.
I'm constantly paranoid, so my parents decided to use a matchmaker. It's more relaxed since then. Wow, thank you for this life story. I didn't ask anything about.
Draco smirked, and Simon started laughing.
Sorry. I know we should be professional and all this Lord something bullshit, but I prefer to be up close and personal. I mean, if you'd rather be formal.
Simon threw him a questioning glance, and Draco laughed. He shook his head.
No, it's fine. Just something new. New is always better than old.
Simon stated and held up the wine they had just gotten.
To something new.
To be continued.